everyone, my name is Mary Ellen and welcome back to my little slice of the internet where we talk about all things related to the storytelling industry. If you don't already know me, I write nonfiction under my real name, Mary Ellen Quigley, and romance under my pen name, M.E. Laverne. And in today's episode, we are going to finally talk about the passion project that I have been hinting at for a few months now. And if you follow me on social media, you already know what this is, so just pretend like you're surprised. For those of you who are watching, or I should say listening to really, the podcast version of this episode, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing here. But for those of you who can see, that's a big pile. These are my cancer hats. These are all of the hats and the scarves that I wore when I was going through ovarian cancer. I had chemotherapy. I went through ovarian cancer. I actually really loved, these were my favorites. You're gonna have to use your imagination if you're podcasting this, but like this gray one was my favorite. Look at how cute are the flowers, right? I also really loved this one because of the sparkles. I used to just tuck the ends in the back or I would tie them in a bow in the back. And then my third favorite one, besides this purple one because it was soft, was just a beanie. But I might keep the beanie. I'm going to be real. I might keep the beanie. It's just a sparkly beanie. I live in Indiana, so I could totally rock this in the winter. Long story short, we're not here for a fashion show. All right, we are here to talk about my project. So I have a little insight for you guys, right? I have been holding on to this pile of scarves and hats now for years. They told me I had no evidence of disease in April of 2018. And then 2 years ago, I was actually released from oncology because I hit the 5-year clear mark and I was declared cancer-free officially. So in the eyes of the medical community, like I'm cancer-free, but I still held on to the hats because I have been so terrified of the cancer coming back. And much like I've held on to all of these hats, I also held on to a dream I had of sharing my experience with other people in the hopes that I could somehow help people in my journey. Those of you who have been following my channel for a while know that I am a Christian and my faith is very important to me. But the thing that really grew my faith, the thing that strengthened my faith to what it is today, is the fact that I had to go through ovarian cancer. It was the most terrifying time of my life. I was convinced I was dying. It was an absolutely excruciating experience. Anybody who's been through chemotherapy, surgeries, treatment for cancer can tell you it's not a fun journey. I had it on my heart to use that experience to help other people, but I never did it. And for a lot of reasons, right? First of all, it was just self-doubt. I'm not the right person to write a devotional. I don't know enough about God. I'm not well studied in the Bible. I'm not the perfect Christian. I love Jesus, but I cuss a little, as you guys can affirm on this channel. I'm just not the right person to write a Christian devotional. There's no one on this planet that's going to read a devotional written by me and actually think it's any good. That's the self-doubt that I had in my head for years. I also, from a writer's perspective, I had no idea how to do it. I'm not a Christian writer. I thought about being a Christian writer for a hot second. I even joined American Christian Fiction Writers Association back in the day because I thought for sure I was going to become a Christian romance author. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't for me because I know that I don't fit into the typical Christian mold. Like, I mean, for example, I love Jesus. I go to church on Sunday and I write books about ghosts. Like, they don't really go together. So I wasn't sure how to make it work and whether or not I should even do it and whether or not anybody would even want to read it because I don't fit the mold. I'm not the typical Christian person. And so I just never went anywhere with it. I wrote this devotional back when a couple years after I finished treatment. So I think I finished it just prior to the pandemic. So it was like 2019 I finished this devotional. And it's just been sitting on a Word document for years because I have been absolutely terrified of releasing it because I'm afraid of what other people will think. And then I finally had a moment earlier this year where I was really just looking back at old files and old books I was working on, and I saw this devotional, and I was like, this is the one piece of writing that has been nudging at me for years. It has been just like a constant nudge that I need to do something with this devotional. I finally decided that, you know what, I need to stop being afraid of what other people think. And maybe it doesn't fit the mold. Maybe I'm going to have my cancer devotional next to my ghost books and people are going to think it's weird. But I do feel like it's something that I meant to do. And then instead of being scared, I need to just do it. So I decided that April of 2025, which is 7 years cancer-free, 8 years since diagnosis, but 7 years cancer-free, this is when I need to let go of the fear. So later this week, I am taking a drive down to the local chemo center and I am donating all of my old hats and scarves. And this week, I uploaded my cancer devotional, When God and Cancer Collide, to Amazon for pre-order. It comes out at the end of June. So right now the book is completed. It is in the editing stage. I'm going through and doing self-edits right now just to make sure that I feel like I've covered everything in detail. In about 2 weeks, it's going off to the editor and then we will work through edits. And then by end of May, I'm going to, well, end of May, maybe beginning of June, but should be end of May if the timeline stays where it should be. I will be looking for a couple of beta readers. And really, I just want some feedback from someone who's not me or knows my cancer journey. So my only requirements are going to be that I would prefer, obviously, for you to be a Christian or someone with a Christian understanding background, because if you're not a Christian, you may not, number one, you may not be interested in it. And number two, you may not get some of the references, you know what I mean? But I'm open. We can discuss. I will, in a few weeks, I will let you guys know when things are ready for beta readers. If you're interested, obviously let me know, but I will have a link where you can sign up and all that kind of stuff. But I am looking for a handful of beta readers just because I want to make sure it's not too like preachy or self-serving. I want to make sure it's actually helpful. Right now, the early editors that I've had looked at it like it, but I do want other people's opinions. So yeah, I took the plunge and this is a passion project for me. Am I going to become a Christian devotional writer? Probably not. Honestly, I don't really have like a whole long list of devotional books I'm going to write. If an idea sparks later on, great. And there is a book that I've thought about writing about my experience growing up in a cult when I was younger, but it's not something that I'm actively pursuing. As you guys know, I like writing romance and I really like my ghost books. So I don't see myself going into the Christian market, but this is a project that has been on my heart now for years. And I decided that, you know what, let go of the fear. Who cares what people think? They don't have to understand that I love Jesus and I love romance and paranormal. They don't have to understand. But at the end of the day, if God can use my words to help a couple people, then I think it was worth releasing. At the end of the day, this is me sharing how God changed my life, how cancer helped me to understand God better. And if it can help 1 or 2 people, then I think it was well worth writing. Now, some of you guys already know this, but I actually chronicled my cancer journey here on YouTube. This channel was a weight loss channel for like 1 video before it suddenly turned into me being diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And I actually vlogged the entire experience all the way through until I decided to switch over to BookTube. But I have all the videos privated right now because it was a confusing channel. I mean, you had like almost 2 years of cancer content. And then I switched to weight loss again because I was trying to get off the weight that I gained on chemo. And then it was like for a hot second, it was organizational tips and home decorating and things. I don't really know what that was about. And then I switched over to BookTube. So when I switched over to BookTube and AuthorTube content, I just privated all the previous videos, but they still exist. So I ended up taking all those videos and creating a compilation for you guys. Just for those of you who might be new to my journey, it's like a 6 or 7 minute compilation of just the entire journey from just prior to diagnosis all the way through my first CT scan where they said I had no evidence of disease. So if you want to watch the journey, feel free to check it out. I'm going to insert it right afterwards, but I am going to go ahead and close. That way, if you're not interested, you can just pop off of here. And if you are, just hang out for a second and they will pop up for you. What projects are you guys working on? Do you have any crazy passion projects like me that you have in the works? I'd love to hear about it. Leave me a comment below. Like, share, subscribe, all the things. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. And again, stay tuned if you want to see my compilation. Bye, guys. Hey everyone, it's Mary and welcome back to my channel. It's been about a week since my first video, so I wanted to give you an update since it's been about a week and let you know what's going on. So I did figure out what diet I want to do, and I also wanted to give you a health update. So I'll start with the health update because that is really the determining factor on this whole diet thing that I'm doing. Basically, I might be having surgery next week, so I wasn't expecting that. I haven't been feeling really well, honestly. For the last 2 weeks, the bloating is just getting worse and worse and worse. And I know that you have bloating with a cyst, but it just seemed to me like it was getting so bad that it couldn't possibly be normal. So, when I saw the doctor, she was not happy with my bloating. She was not happy with the fact that my legs and feet were swelling. Some of my previous blood work didn't look right, but she wasn't worried at the time. So she ended up ordering a blood test yesterday. I went to the hospital and took it, called a CA-125. If it comes back elevated, then my surgery will be moved up to next week. Hey everyone, it's Mary and welcome back to my channel. It's been about 2 weeks since I've done an update. I'm 2 days post-surgery, so that's why right now I don't look or sound very well. I'm still really wore out and very sore, so I ended up having my right ovary removed because there was a big cyst. The cyst ended up being bigger than what they thought on the scan, and it was twisted around my ovary. The cyst that was on my ovary has been sent to pathology to have a biopsy done. The doctor thinks it's a dermoid cyst, which is not cancerous, but obviously they're going to send that to pathology to make sure. I should actually hear something by the end of the week. Maybe next week. I have a doctor's appointment with her on Monday, so she might just tell me on Monday. I don't know. So, I know last video I talked about the initial biopsy results from my local hospital showing a borderline malignant tumor and some abnormal cells in my uterus, and how they were sending this off to Mayo Clinic for a second opinion. Mayo Clinic results came in, my doctor called me, and unfortunately they show ovarian cancer. The ovary was full of ovarian cancer, and the cyst was actually a tumor. It was a borderline tumor, but unfortunately the ovary was full of cancer anyway. As you can imagine, this really came as a shock. I was not expecting it to come back as full-blown cancer. I was totally fine with it being borderline, but when someone says you have the real deal, you have cancer, it puts a fear in you like I can't put into words. So first of all, my surgery is officially scheduled for next Thursday, so a week from today. And it's gonna sound weird to say that I'm looking forward to surgery, but I am, because I want to just get this done with. I know that this surgery is a must-have because they're going to remove as much of this cancer as they can surgically remove. And I think that's why I'm looking forward to it, because I know that it's going to better my chances of living longer and hopefully beating this disease in the long run. So I'm happy that it's being done so fast and it's getting over with. It just makes me so relieved to just get it done, get the treatment started, and just get past this. That's what I want. So looking forward to surgery next week. It's just funny how your mind is really all over the place. And I don't know why. I don't like this. I don't like that I feel like I'm going crazy, and I don't like the being depressed and crying about everything. That's not me. I'm not that kind of person, and I've always been the glass is always half full and everything's gonna be great. And I'm kind of losing a little bit of my personality, and I don't like that. So doctor's appointment yesterday, I have to be honest, I was a little bit shocked. I do have to do chemo. And the reason I'm shocked is not, because I have to do chemo. I mean, most people who get a cancer diagnosis expect to have to do chemo. But my doctor, when I met with him the first time, mentioned that I might do radiation instead. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today is day 3. And they were not lying when they said that day 3 and 4 would be your worst days, because it has been shooting pain in my joints. I mean, my hips especially. This is really the first day that I felt like crying, because I just feel terrible. And it sucks because this is like 1 of 6. And they were like, oh, it gets cumulatively worse as treatment goes on, because that's exactly what you want to hear. It's almost all gone. I still have quite a bit on the top here. You can see this is really thinned out. And I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I've been wearing a cap around the house because it takes very little for your hair to come out. Like, it's just rubbing your hand over your head, you lose hair. And in fact, this is really creepy, but like, just a slight yank, and there's my hair. Can you see it? I don't think it's focusing, but anyway, I mean, literally just, you know, there's my hair. Like, it just comes right out. It doesn't take much. This chemo has been really, really hard because I'm just so uncomfortable. I'm so bloated and I'm having so much pain and I'm tired. Like, I have no appetite. I'm tired. Tuesday, I slept through most of the chemo, which usually they knock me out for the first couple hours with the Benadryl, and then I'm up. So I bring things to do. I bring like a book to read and my laptop, and I'm going to get this done during chemo. I slept through most of that chemo. I could not stay awake. Hey everyone, it's Mary, and as you can tell by me shaking my camera and from the title of this video, that I've got really, really good news today. I had a visit with my doctor, and if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you already know what I'm about to tell everybody, but I have no evidence of disease, so I am officially Ned.